Hi again, everyone, and welcome to the 2011 edition of the Black Book Today from the Standardbred Horse Sale in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I'm Sam McKee, joined by Bob Hollywood Hayden, and every year, Holly, we always talk about the first crop stallions, and we've got a pair of good ones this year for sure. On the pacing side, Some Beach Somewhere. On the trotting side, Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe. And even though their gaits are different, there are a lot of similarities between the two.
Amazing similarities here between Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe and Some Beach Somewhere. Take a look here. Trotter of the Year, Some Beach Somewhere was Horse of the Year. Both were undefeated, 2-year-old of the year. $2.2 million for Dewey, $2.4 million, that's a record for Some Beach Somewhere. The only undefeated Hambo winner was Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe. The only 46-4 3-year-old was Some Beach Somewhere. 22 wins for Dewey, 20 stakes, 20 wins for Some Beach Somewhere, all of them stakes. 2- and 3-year-old of the year. My personal favorite, Sam, how about this? Combined career margin of victory, 63 1/4 lengths for Dewey, 66.5 lengths for Some Beach Somewhere. Great, great horses. Their first crops here. 26 Dewey yearlings will go, and 53 by Some Beach Somewhere.
Well, Bob and I caught up with several industry leaders and major players in the sport of harness racing. We hope you enjoyed their views and thoughts, and we'll be back with more on the Black Book Today. Well, we're talking to the man with his finger on the pulse of what's happening here at Harrisburg, and that's Murray Brown, General Manager for the Standardbred Horse Sales Company. Murray, uncertain times in the industry, what are your feelings going into the sale?
I think it's going to be solid. I think it's going to be like most sales this year. The horses that people like and want are going to be very much in demand and sell well. The others could be in a bit of trouble.
One thing about horses from Pennsylvania, horses from New York, and Ontario, they have great sire stakes program as a fallback program in case they don't make it on the Grand Circuit. Does that impact the states like New Jersey and some of the smaller states not having that good a sire stakes program right now?
Without a doubt. You know, not only does Pennsylvania have a great sire stakes program, but it's got a secondary program with the Stallion Series, and it's got a third program with the fairs. So if you've got a decent horse, you don't have to have a top horse, but you can make a decent amount of money.
And speaking of decent horses, Hanover happens to have a full brother to a horse that we've heard of, Donato Hanover, off to a great start with his first crop. He was a world champion himself. It's hip number 203, and you think he might be the sale topper?
I'd be surprised if he wasn't, Sam. I've been here 44 years, seen a lot of trotting yearlings, seen a lot of trotting yearlings that I thought were terrific, but in my opinion, he's the finest trotting yearling we've ever raised. He's got all the parts. I'd be shocked if he wasn't the sale topper, and I'd be shocked if he didn't turn out to be a real good horse.
And that's saying a lot, because you've seen a lot of great trotting yearlings in your days at Hanover, no question about that. Murray, the state of the industry right now, the future of the Meadowlands, it looks like we're going to be okay, but it's a real state of flux. Are you bullish on harness racing still?
Sure I am. I love harness racing. It's been the better part of my life for the better part of my life. And I hope to end up owning a piece of some of the yearlings that sell here this week. Obviously, I'm not bidding, or I can't bid, and I wouldn't bid. But some of my friends do buy horses that I think are worth the money. I try to get in through the back door, and I've been very fortunate doing that.
Well, Murray, you've done a great job with the Standardbred Horse Sale over the years. It's become like the great auto mall of the horse racing industry. I'm sure we'll have a great sale this year. Thanks for everything you do for the sport. Always a pleasure to chat with you.
My pleasure, Sam. Truly so. Thank you.
Joined here by Richard Silbman. Richie, would it be safe to say this is the first Harrisburg Sale you've made it to as a full-time trainer?
I would say 100%, Bob, yes.
So you have a little bit of a different perspective on the horses now that your driving career may be in a rearview mirror, right?
That is correct. You know, I took a good look at that when I came back in January and February, and I decided to take a step back, and I think that step is going to take further back, and I think I'm going to just stick to training for now.
So we're looking at here, stakes horses, race horses, what are you looking at?
I would say stake horses and a combination of top quality racehorses.
Now, for a trainer, there's an awful lot of work, an awful lot of grunt work that goes into getting it done right. I mean, you know, confirmation, videos, all kinds of stuff. What last couple months, what have they been like for you preparing for this?
You know, going over the catalog, number one, looking at the pedigrees that we're interested in, going around to the farms and seeing what individual stands, acts, and confirmation-wise is what we're looking for in our yearlings.
Now, Jerry Silverman, your father, you and your father have a lot of history here with a lot of the horses. Do you see some of the familiarity in maybe even the black type in the book?
Oh, 100%. A lot. And, you know, we always try to go back when we can to pedigrees and horses that have done us well, and it seemed to work very well for Dad, and I hope it worked well for me also, and for both of us.
How about jurisdiction? A lot of horses here are selling. I think it's 41% of the yearlings are Pennsylvania bred. New York's got 23%. Right there is a big chunk. Are you looking there, or are you looking everywhere?
You know, unfortunately, you have to lean a little bit more towards Pennsylvania and New York because what's going on in New Jersey and their program right now. But, you know, we keep an open mind, and if we're looking towards Jersey breds, it's more that we're looking towards having the home run and not having to lean back towards the sire stakes.
When you set limits on your program, are they legitimate limits? Do you exceed those, or how does that work?
Limits as far as price-wise?
Yeah.
You know, you always, with Mr. Runick, who's my main owner right now, we set a limit, and we vary very, very small around that area.
How likely is it to find a glowing report somewhere in here?
I think it's very likely, but remember, you have to have Lady Luck on your side, bud.
Okay, Jerry Silverman, Richard Silverman, both trainers. We like the sound of that. Good luck to you in your training and here at Harrisburg.
Thank you very much, bud. Appreciate it.
The Bow River 14-karat gold fine jewelry collection has some of the most unique custom equine jewelry designs. With the master craftsmanship of our designers, we provide a piece of jewelry you'll treasure for years to come. We use state-of-the-art equipment, hand finishing, and quality stones to give you the craftsmanship in a piece of jewelry that you will enjoy. Our designs seek to capture the world of horses and the relationship they have with their owners. Wearing one of these unique designs will reflect this.
Hi, I'm Art from Bow River. Come back and look at our new collection we have for this season. We're located in the McClay Street lobby. When you come back to look at our jewelry, make sure you sign up for a $500 gift certificate, which we'll be giving away on Saturday.
Joining us now on the Black Book today is Pete Spears, the president and CEO of the Standardbred Horse Sales Company. And Pete, one of the new wrinkles this year here at Harrisburg is internet bidding. Tell us a little bit about that.
We're really excited about that. Hanover Shoe Farm started the project for its Adios sale a little earlier this year and has worked out some of the initial wrinkles. We are going to be doing another live webcast of the sale that everyone will, of course, be able to access. But for registered bidders, they will be able to bid online just as if they're present at the sale. We currently have close to 20 people who are registered for that program. And we're really excited about it. We've figured out some ways to try to make it very seamless, both for the auctioneers and for the bidders themselves. And we think, of course, that like everything else, the internet is the wave of the future. And the more we can involve people who may not be able to get here through either other commitments or distance, it's a win-win for everyone.
I know we have a very strong catalog, like usual, but it's no secret it's a very tough economy out there. Are you cautiously optimistic going into the start of the sale?
I'm actually a little more than cautiously optimistic. The Lexington sale, I think, was quite good. The thoroughbred sales were good. There are signs that the economy itself is picking up. I think we're going to have compared to last year, even a very good sale. I really do. I'm very cautious, well, more than cautiously optimistic.
What do you find, Pete, as the most rewarding part of your job? You put a lot of sweat equity into this every year. What do you get the biggest kick out of?
I get the biggest kick out of going around and talking to people and seeing what they're interested in and having people suggest to me different ways that we can innovate and try to make this a little bit more responsive to their needs. We've had different suggestions by different people that we've tried to incorporate, anything from changes in the website to the live web streaming. And the more we can do to be customer friendly, the better off we all are.
Well, Pete, thank you very much for taking a few minutes to join us, and best of luck with this year's auction. Pete Spears on the Black Book Today. A familiar face here at Harrisburg is joining me now, and that is John Mayo, the operations manager for the Harness Racing Museum and Hall of Fame in the Cradle of the Trotter, Goshen, New York. A lot going on up there at the Hall of Fame. You guys have started to focus on interactive exhibits, and it's gone over pretty well.
Oh yeah, we opened the auction exhibit where every visitor gets a chance to actually bid on a horse and see what it's about, to actually come and buy a horse and really feel the excitement of it, as you know.
And the Harness Racing Simulator, if you've never done that and you ever get to the Hall of Fame, be sure and check that out. It's almost like you're in an actual horse race.
Yeah, we give everybody a chance to feel what it's really like to drive a horse without putting them in the actual seat on the track, but a little taste, so hopefully then they want to go a little bit farther and buy that horse and then start driving.
How many people come to the Hall of Fame every year?
We get about 22,000 a year, and that includes anything from the school programs to our special activities to walk-in visitors.
And do you find that people are actually surprised and amazed about the history of harness racing and how interconnected it is with transportation?
Yeah, it's amazing. The people that aren't involved in the industry, that just come into the museum to check it out, can't believe what an important part of American history and American culture. Before they were playing baseball, people were racing their horses with their carriages, which is what started harness racing. So yeah, it's great to hear these people that have no idea what the sport is all about to leave the place and go, wow, I'm going to bring my family back now, or I want to go to the racetrack and see what it's all about.
And Goshen, New York is just 1 hour from New York City. How many days a year are you guys open?
We're open 361 days a year. We're closed on Easter, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's. But otherwise, we're open 7 days a week, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Well, if you're ever in Goshen, New York, be sure and check it out. John Mayo from the Harness Racing Hall of Fame. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Sam.
Now, you've been training a good long time. What about the familiarity you see with some of the names that you've trained in the book? Does that help you at all when you see some families that you prefer?
Yeah, I think you just get used to what kind of horse they throw, and if it's some of the families throw awful good-looking horses, and they're just okay on the racetrack, and then other ones can overcome a lot of conformation flaws and still be good horses.
Can you? Someone was telling me about some of the great trotters didn't exactly stand perfect and things like that. How much can you overlook as a trainer in conformation-wise?
I think it's just what you get used to. Some people overlook more than others, and I do. There's a couple things I look for in a trotter. I look for a trotter to toe out a little bit more, and some trotters toe out a lot and they still get by with it because it's easier on missing their shins, and they trot a little cleaner that way.
Can you get to all the farms prior to coming here?
No, never out here. That's why I'm here today on Sunday, trying to cover where I haven't seen yet.
And right behind us, there are a lot of people here watching the videos. You a video guy too?
Yeah, what I like doing is looking at the horses. I can look at videos all day. There's so many of them, but if you go through and look at the horses and then pick out the ones you think are okay conformation-wise, and then come back and watch the videos and eliminate a few other things like that.
Yeah, not everybody knows what happens when you buy a horse. Can you actually buy a horse and not at that time know who the owners are and kind of divvy it up later on?
Yeah, a little bit. I do. I mainly know who the owners are. There's a certain number of horses that maybe I have an owner that wants to buy half the horse or something, and I won't know the other half till after the sale.
And you've had a big taste of some Hambletonian favorites a couple times now in the last 7 years. Might you be looking more in the trotting world now that you've had some really nice trotters?
Yeah, I always like looking for trotters. I think that's a gift or whatever, that I can get one that, just a nice trotter to go, but it's also a little easier market to compete in maybe than what the Pacers are.
All right, Irv Miller, thanks so much for stopping by, and good luck here at Harrisburg.
Thank you.
One of the most famous horses that you sold is perhaps the greatest pacer in the history of the sport, Some Beach Somewhere. When you first laid eyes on him, did you say, hey, this colt's something special?
The minute he was born. It was about 10 o'clock at night. He came out, everything. It was an uneventful foaling, and he was just amazing. Just amazing.
Is he the type of colt that you knew was special, so every time you turned him out in the paddock you were worried he'd get kicked or get hurt or something like that, or did you just treat him like a horse?
I knew he was very special, but you can't raise a horse like that. You've got to raise them just to be horses and athletes. And so he didn't get any sugar cubes. He didn't get any special stuff like that. He just got a lot of love and a lot of care. And he grew up with a bunch of kids, and they ran hard and they played hard, and just treated him like another horse. But he was a super horse. So.
And even though you didn't own him, I'll bet every time he raced, you watched him on the computer or at simulcasting, and I'll bet you cheered for him just as hard as if he was your horse.
And I cried every time. It was, it was just a wonderful time in life. So he was a special horse.
Well, tell us about your consignment here at Harrisburg this year. Are there a few that you really think will sell well?
We have some very special babies. I actually have a full brother to Sun Beach Somewhere. His hip number is 120, and he's so much like his brother. He's a pretty nice colt. People have to come back and see him. He's got a lot of his brother's tendencies. A little bit different color, a little darker horse. Same kind of neck, same kind of shoulder, a lot of strength in the colt. Very clean looking colt, very racy. He's very special.
Well, one man who has been to the top of the mountain in harness racing is joining us now, trainer Brent McGrath, who is also the co-owner of perhaps the world's greatest pacer, Some Beach Somewhere. First of all, it's great to see you here at Harrisburg. Secondly, are you bringing some of those millions to buy some SBSW babies?
Thank you. Yeah, the plan is to bring one home. We have one now. We brought a weanling at the sale here last year, an estate sale, and I am planning to buy one, for the group to go home to Nova Scotia with, yes.
Now, most stallions that are very successful stamp their get. What do you think of the SBSW babies so far? They look like their dad?
Yeah, they certainly do. There is the mares, of course, play a big part in it, but a lot of them do have his head, and a lot of them seem to have his disposition. What I'm seeing, they're very smart. They stand on the floor, they stand in the yard in Lexington, and we're very easy to get along with, very easy to work with. Hearing good reports of the ones that sold in Lexington and how they're breaking, and they seem to be smart. They seem to have good hind end on them and a good strong shoulder and good bone under them, which he had all of the above. But one of the things that did contribute to his success, a couple of things, was he was very light on his feet, and he was extremely intelligent, and he seems to throw that. All the videos that I've seen, they're very light on their feet, and that's a real attribute.
Tremendous career. Is there one moment that stands out in Some Beach Somewhere's career to you?
Yeah, probably the night he got beat, probably, is the one that stands out the most.
That was the Meadowlands Pace, perhaps exactly. The greatest race in harness history.
Probably the greatest race that he went. A lot of people have asked me that, but, you can look at the race he went in Yonkers, in the mud, and Shadow Play got a half in 59, in the middle half in 59, and he still went by him, and Shadow Play was a great horse. You look at the race he won in the Breeders' Crown, he came home in 26 seconds in the Meadowlands, the last race of his career, and that really summed up his career. I thought that it was a cold night that night. He kicked home a mile 48, set a Breeders' Crown record, and come home in 26 seconds, and he really was on cruise control that night, and for him to do that the last race of his career, I thought was impressive. The first race of his life, he had the 7 or 8 hole, and he just made nice horses look very average, and he did that a lot, and I think we all took it a little bit for granted how easy he made it look. And the world record in Lexington was, I can go on and on.
Well, the weather conditions were certainly not ideal that day.
They weren't.
For sure.
They weren't world record. And the only nights really that he had the 2 real warm nights was the Meadowlands Pace and the Meadowlands Pace Elimination. And the Elimination, if you remember, he was awesome. He went in 47 and a piece that night and was just incredible. And the Meadowlands Pace itself, the race he went that night, was just unbelievable. And those were really the only 2 really warm, humid nights that he had to race. And maybe it was better. It stopped him from going the speed that maybe would have caused him some problems. He did it, and he earned the money and set the records, and it's been great.
How about Brent McGrath personally? What have you been doing the last few years?
Well, I went back to the car business. We own Gary Pye and I own 2 dealerships, 2 Toyota dealerships and a Chev dealership, and we just bought a tire store which has about 7 stores in the Maritimes. So we're busy. I got lots on the go. I bought a Bettor's Delight the year after Beach. He's raced in Toronto a few times. He's won a couple. We qualified him Friday. We had a bit of a breathing issue, and we sent him to Cornell and had a tie forward operation done on him. And he's ready to go now. He's a nice horse. He's not special, but he's a nice horse, and so I've stayed in the business. I've always had a horse, and I will always have 1 or 2 kicking around. But the business comes first, and horse is our hobby.
Now, how many Some Beach Somewhere yearlings are you looking to buy? A half dozen to train this year, or what's your number?
No, two. Two is I wouldn't say that I wouldn't go with three, but two is a better number for me. Like, I try to do them in the morning before I go to work, to my real job, and three would be stretching it a little bit, but I'm not saying I wouldn't go home with three. But like I say, I'm here to get two is what I'm here to do.
Well, based on the ones that we've seen, you'll want to buy about 20 or 30, not just 2 or 3. Brad McGrath, great to see you again. Thanks for taking time to join us, and best of luck with your purchases.
Thank you, Sam.
The Bow River 14-karat gold fine jewelry collection has some of the most unique custom equine jewelry designs. With the master craftsmanship of our designers, we provide a piece of jewelry you'll treasure for years to come. We use state-of-the-art equipment, hand finishing, and quality stones to give you the craftsmanship in a piece of jewelry that you will enjoy. Our designs seek to capture the world of horses and the relationship they have with their owners. Wearing one of these unique designs will reflect this.
Hi, I'm Art from Bow River. Come back and look at our new collection we have for this season. We're located in the McClay Street lobby. When you come back to look at our jewelry, make sure you sign up for a $500 gift certificate, which we'll be giving away on Saturday.
So the excitement is certainly starting to build here in Harrisburg for the annual yearling sale for the Standardbred Horse Sales Company. And Holly, the international influence is very prevalent in harness racing, especially on the trotting side. And based on what we saw at the Breeders' Crown up at Woodbine just a week ago, the performance by the European trotters in the open trot, do you think that will stimulate even more interest here?
I think it will. The race was so extraordinary. I think anybody who watched the race has to say, hey, maybe I want to be part of that, regardless of where they're from. Remember, Sandpale, that's our definite horse of the year, just held off Commander Crow and Rapide Lobel from Sweden and France. Now, the history in the past 15 years, we haven't seen a lot of overseas influence. Cocktail Jet came here back in 1996 and basically flopped. Varenne set the world on fire in 2001, and Victory Tilly in 2002 set a world record. But since then, it's been kind of dry. This race right here, Sandpale, Rapide Lobel, and Commander Crow, I think if you can prove you can race here, you can also buy here.
We'll be with you for the next 3 days here at Harrisburg, covering all the trends of the sale, what's hot and what's not. So we hope you enjoy the Black Book today.